All right, gang. I am very excited to have on the show with me for this episode. She is wearer of many hats. She's an actress. She is a producer. She herself is a part of a very cool podcast, and she is a stand-up comedian that just came out with a new horror special that you can check out right now. We have the link in the show notes. But it is all about being a nerd and a horror fan, and those are two things that definitely speak my language. For everybody who listens to our stuff, definitely knows that. But welcome, Samantha Hale. How you doing, man?
Hello, I am still alive after Halloween, so I'm doing good.
Yeah, man. Halloween. It's always a crapshoot in my neighborhood. I don't know about you, but it's always like, are we gonna get tricked more than kids asking for treats, or what? And my neighbor woke up the next morning in my neighbor's yard. He's got teenagers, and it's just like
Oh no.
COVID TP supply in his front
Oh
yard.
no, I guess that's better than anything because at least TP comes off.
Yeah, yeah,
People trick-or-treaters, probably the highlight of the evening was, so I don't have kids, so my cat is not, I found a familiar. I found a cat about a
yeah.
year ago. I have this cat now, and she's out of her mind, but she hasn't seen a lot of kids. So when a kid came in a costume, like a full skeleton costume, she was like, well, I'll F you up, man. Like she was trying to get she was trying to defend me against a child skeleton. It was kind of awesome.
It's interesting that you say that because our cat is like a dog cat. Like she always wants to be petted, always wants
Oh,
to have.
yeah,
And when the trick or treaters came, yeah, same deal. She was like, "Fuck this, no, hell
right,
no." Yeah,
right. Get the hell away from my house.
yeah. um, well, you have got like it's cool that you do stand up comedy, man. Because before I did film school and before I was doing podcasting, 15ish years ago, I was a theater kid. I got my first degree in theater, and I did my theater like exit exam thing was when Dane Cook did his first horror special, and he was talking about being a xenomorph and he dumped water on his head and all that shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I memorized that set and I performed that on stage by myself, and that, like, I tried stand up comedy for a while, and I the level of respect it takes to be a stand-up comedian, man. Like,
Yeah,
I think it's super unappreciated, honestly. Like, people don't understand the nerve wracking that goes into that.
yeah, we're not normal. We're not healthy people. And I say that with love. But if you think about what we're doing, we're getting up in a room full of strangers saying, hey, strangers, I'm going to tell you my most vulnerable, intimate secrets. And if you don't laugh on a certain line that I wrote myself, I'm going to really hate myself. Like, it's not normal. And then on top of it, I'm trying to, like, my show is called Horror Nerd. I do a live version of it. So it's all horror themed material. I have multiple comics who jump on it with me. And we started it at the Hollywood Improv 4 years ago, which is pretty.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, yeah,
So sometimes you get like a mix of there are legit horror fans who are going to get all your weird references. And then there are the other people who are like, this sounds cool. I don't know what you're talking about. So you have to find a way of like explaining why a film is magical or who, if you don't know Jason Voorhees, then what planet do you live on? But
yeah,
a
yeah.
deeper cut, like not everyone has seen I Spit on Your Grave. So you have to be like, okay, here was
Right.
the film. You gotta explain it sometimes.
Which you guys do on the podcast really, I think,
Yeah.
pretty well. Like when you guys are telling, the jokes, just listen to your latest episode where you talk about the horror hotties,
Yeah.
and you guys are anytime that there was like a deep cut or like anything, like you guys were talking about Kate Siegel, and even though you're talking about like she's a very attractive lady, but you're also like giving her flowers for like her monologues and stuff in Follow the House of Usher. So you can tell you guys are all like horror fans. What came first for you? Or is it the comedic stuff, or was it being a horror fan?
That's actually a great question that no one's presented in that way. So that's really cool now that I think about it. So I guess the order would be I found horror when I was maybe like 7 or so. My dad, it's in the special. I talk about finding Morticia Addams because I was obsessed with the sitcom The Addams Family, and
Mm.
then like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein was huge for me. And then I found my dad watched it. He let me watch it. Like my parents had just gotten a divorce, and so like the joke is, I thought when Georgie died, that was my fault too. You're coming from a right? And so that was my start, was it. And you don't get better than Tim Curry. I mean, what an icon, right? So he kind of hooked me and terrified me and ruined my childhood at the same time. And I got
Yeah.
to that, which was amazing. He came into a restaurant I was working at 8,000 years ago, and I held the door for him, and I'm like, "He ruined my childhood. Thank you so much." And he laughed. Compliment. Um, but and I also did the Rocky Horror Picture Show in high school. But anyway, so
Nice.
yeah, I played Janet.
Cool.
um, so I got into horror quite young, and then I've been doing stand up. I started doing stand up maybe 10 years until I figured out, oh, okay, maybe I'm a little burned out on talking about dating and family like the usual. I've done it, I've covered it. What now? And long story short, in the pandemic, we couldn't work for like 2 years. So I'm in Los Angeles. So I'm like,
Mm.
wait a minute. I have the Michael Myers house, the Nightmare on Elm Street house, the Insidious house, the Murder house from American Horror Story, like the People Under the Stairs house. So I started going to these houses and making jokes about the film or my relationship to the film in front of the house. And
Mm.
that's I mean, I had like horror bits before. Um,
Mm.
like one of my favorite jokes, and it's just a true story, the one about Robert Englund submitting to be on Seventh Heaven. That was a true story. That happened a while ago, but I remember that day very, very loud and clear. So I pulled out like his headshot. I was like an intern on that show in casting, and it was my job to go through the actors' headshots whenever we.
Yeah.
So we put out the role of a Catholic priest, and sure enough, there was Robert Englund's head. I lost my mind. Oh my god! Unfortunately, she refused to bring him in. I'm like, why? It's perfect. He's so perfect for this. Come on, but he
Yeah.
didn't let me.
People would have freaked out, man.
I know, it was the greatest thing ever. And he wouldn't have even been the scary dude on that show. It turns out it was Stephen Collins the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. The only way it would have been better if it was Doug Bradley. He had freaking hell to be a priest.
Yeah, right. Dude, Doug Bradley, have you met Doug?
I have. I have had the privilege.
Yeah, he's like, you're honored and intimidated at the same time.
Yeah, I interviewed him. So there's a convention up here north in Sacramento called Sinister Creature Con.
Nice.
And so I'm like the panel director. So I have my team of moderators and everything. And part of doing all the leg work, the privileges when we find out who's coming is before I assign panels, I get my first draft. And so, yeah, one year Doug was it. And yes, he's very stoic, very
British.
proper, yes, very British. and, but he loves Clive Barker and he will discuss ripping people apart all day long with you if you, in the most British way possible.
Very that. I actually included a story about meeting him at Monsterpalooza in the special. Because basically, like, I didn't know what to say. He was the one guy that I hadn't met that I was like, this is the top of my list. He's the one I want to meet. So I got in
Mm.
his mind first. And I didn't know what to say. So I just said, hey, I probably can't say anything you haven't heard before. So thanks so much. He's like, try me. I said, oh my God. And so I'm freaking out and I'm like, oh, I know. I'm a horror themed comedian. I run a horror themed show. And he's like, oh, you're a comedian, are you? You know, he's very British. I said, yeah. And he's like, tell me a joke about me I've never heard. I have never been so scared in my entire life. But I was like, can I go away and come back? So I left. I came back like half hour later. I sat on a bench and just like wrote furiously, and I came up with what I thought was a pretty solid 2 minutes. I went over to Kane Hodder, who I absolutely adore. I said, Kane, you've got to hear this story. So I told him, and he was like, yeah, let me hear the jokes. And I told him, he's like, those are fucking great. Doug's gonna love them. And then we go over and do the jokes, and his response, I think, was, oh, well, I may have heard the box opening bit before. I said, that is fair. But I had like 20 minutes. These other people had like 2 months to prepare. That's fair. Well, why don't you take that? Why don't you take these jokes to the club and see how it goes? I was like, that is the most polite annihilation I've ever been so honored in my life. It was so good.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah, all true.
Do you when you're talking about the how this all like began and then snowballed? Was you doing your sets in front of the houses? I heard that you used to live across the street from the Poltergeist house.
Did. That was the greatest gift of my parents getting divorced. I mean, honestly, it was like you should have gotten divorced sooner because my mom moved me to Simi Valley. And I actually didn't realize it at first. I had walked up and down like plenty of times until I was like, wait a minute.
Hmm.
Had no idea. I had walked past it, just carrying my groceries back, when I was on summer break. Just crazy. And so now I go there all the time. And, it's a Airbnb now, which is
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so I've been talking to Rachel actually who owns it, and she's gonna come out to the live show this month actually. So I'm really excited.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. The way that you were talking on your guys' podcast was like when you do a live set, is it joining you? Is it the co-hosts of the podcast that usually are with you?
Oh, like for the live shows at a
Yeah,
con.
yeah.
Bonnie comes whenever she can, and sometimes she'll because Bonnie, my co-host Bonnie Marie Williams, is a fantastic voiceover actor. She just did Sarah Winchester at the Winchester House actually for their big haunt up in
No
San.
shit, we were there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
her
cool.
mom voice then. How
Right on.
yeah. So she'll record like cool stuff in advance for me that'll play. And sometimes she'll come out and just like interview the comics and just get fun clips that we can throw into an episode. But they're not always there. For the live show, I host it. I actually have a monster co-host that I use quite a bit, Barry Under Your Bed. If you know Jeff
Hmm.
Heinrich, is Barry Under Your Bed. So we have monster puppets. We have, anyone who will co-host with me. I'm like, come on down.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That it's cool that you're. Yeah, it's one thing that I learned very fast is like create like a network and use each other's strengths to build each other up, and it definitely sounds like that you are doing that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I think a huge part of the brand, if you will, the idea, the concept of horror nerd is like, hey, we're all a bunch of weird, and I say weird as a compliment. It's like for sure. We're kind of the weird kids that maybe got bullied growing up or didn't fit in or liked horror before it was cool. And
Hmm.
we're all on this same wavelength, especially like of nostalgia. Like I'm on this huge horror VHS kick right now. It's fun. Why not? Um, but we have all the same like similar relationship to horror and stories. I mean, like for Bonnie, both of our dads have passed away, and the way she describes them, I'm like, our dads would have been great friends, and they would have tortured us as kids and made fun of us and let us watch all these scary movies when we were way too young. And so that's why we all get along so well, I think.
It's funny that you say that because like my first intro that I can remember that I tell this story is our dog died when I was a kid. Right around the same time, like fucking horror gods, my mom finishes Pet Cemetery, the novel,
Oh God! Oh
and she made me watch the movie
no!
like within a week of the dog dying.
No!
Like,
Oh my God! Your mom wins.
like, so yeah, I do think it is like if you were exposed at a young age, I definitely think that there are like that trauma slash love factor is definitely very real.
Yeah. Well, a group of us just went to Reign of Terror. It's like this huge haunted house in Thousand Oaks. It's this huge room. It's amazing. It's one maze, but it's like 200 rooms or something insane.
Oh shit.
And we're walking through it, and we're all like complete horror nerds, right? And so we're going through, and all these actors are doing an amazing job jumping out and doing their things, and all of our reactions are like, "Oh, cool! No, dude, you look great. Cool." Like they're
Yeah.
not us. And halfway through, my friend Ken was like, "Are we missing a gene? Is something wrong with us? Everyone else is screaming. We cannot be more relaxed. Like
Yeah.
this is normal for us."
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. My buddy, he built his own haunt. He had it
Okay.
for a while until they had their kid, and then they finally. He's like, I need to enjoy Halloween with my kid for a few years. But his wife, the joke whenever we would go with them is like, she's so overexposed to building and then scaring, and then like when we would go to someone else's home, like you could not shake her. Same deal that you're talking about. She would be like, "Oh, you did a really good job. Maybe next time you try to scare me, like do this." And it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
get keep moving, like leave him alone. And we finally saw her get scared this year. It was a huge celebration.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. If any of the actors can get me, like I literally high five them. I'm like, thank you, I needed that. There was one guy years ago at Halloween Horror Nights that kept trying to get me, and it just wasn't working. So, but I was politely acknowledging, like, oh man, yeah, you look great, and maybe a half hour later, this guy must have been watching me the whole time because he waited until I went and like I had my head in like buried in the map and I was looking at the wait times, not paying attention. He came up from behind the wait time board and like went under it and scared the crap out of me. I've never been happier. He got me. I was like, sir, you earned that so hard. And he like, you could tell he was very happy. Yeah, right.
um, it's funny too because like with both sides of the profession you've created for yourself, the scare factor and the comedy, they go together hand in hand. Like all the best horror movies have always have got some element that people will point to and laugh. From Jason, it's no knock on people in wheelchairs, but Jason throwing the dude in the wheelchair down the stairs, to Franklin and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the list goes on and on. Like there's always something that you're laughing at, and same for like HHN or any haunt. Like if you get scared, I don't know about you, but if I get scared, my next reaction after screaming is like 90% of the time laughing.
Horrible acting. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like fear and anxiety are a very similar neurological like reaction, physiological reaction in our bodies. It's kind of like that tingling. So I mean, like when I first started doing comedy, when I was really, really nervous, I would try to convince myself, no, Samantha, you're excited. You're
Mm.
excited. Even though I was scared out of my mind because it's really scary at first. It's such a vulnerable thing to do. Um, I mean, also, I wonder if maybe me doing stand up, like audiences can be savage sometimes. And if I
Hmm.
feel like that, I am not afraid of an evil leprechaun or, you know what I mean? Like Freddy. Yeah, come on, Freddy. Let's joke off here. Let's go. You know?
with doing a comedy for TV, a comedy special for TV, does that add like stuff like that, like the audience and everything? Is that more anxiety inducing? Because it's like on a night that's not being recorded, if the audience sucks or you mess up, it's like a night and it's over and you go on to your next date. But with that, it's like being recorded. It's going to be available for everyone to watch. Like, how was that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we worked so hard on it. Tom Dolby and I, the director, I think we had maybe like 11 drafts before we
Oh.
liked the hour. Because we were trying to strike that balance of, okay, we want to connect with the legit nerds, like deep cut horror fans, but we also want someone who's like, oh, I'm kind of in the Halloween mood. Let me give this a go, who might not know all of, the specific references. So we tried to make it evergreen, meaning like let's just cover all the classics and make it so that this is going to be current forever. Um,
Hmm.
but also appeal to both. So the good thing is because I'm such a nerd and Tom is like not as deep of a horror fan as he was able to reel me back and kind of keep me balanced, which was really nice.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's definitely pressure. I mean, we did two tapings. We did an early show and a late show, and I think we maybe used the majority of the early show. But sometimes a joke, even if you do it, you deliver it the exact same way. Sometimes it crushes, and sometimes the audience just doesn't get it. That's the crazy thing about stand up. You can do the exact same thing in two different rooms and have wildly different
Yeah.
outcomes. Yeah, I mean, but we filmed more than what we wound up kind of editing it down and making it as tight as possible. So I mean, we're really proud of it. Honestly, I watch it. I'm like, we did that. Holy shit, that looks good.
Well, man, you've done in researching for the interview, you've done like every aspect of film, um, as far as the heavy hitting roles, like producer, actress, you even directed a film. Um, that is pretty cool to be able to diversify yourself when in where we are we have made a couple of indie films that have done well on the festival, and we're gearing up to like make a feature that we're hoping to like get on streaming somewhere with some people down in LA, and we're excited about it. But it's like the indie film world, you don't even count yourself as like I wrote and directed the thing, but technically, since I paid for 90% of the shit, I'm also a producer and I'm also an editor and all this stuff. And it's like, that's just the way that the indie world works. But to see you getting to, you know, work in these different areas on some films that have gotten really good like press,
Thanks.
is there aspect in just film production, film making, or acting that you enjoy most?
You know, first of all, I feel you so hard on the like in the indie world, you're kind of doing everything yourself. So that's how I feel with the live show.
Mm.
I'm the booker, I'm the producer, I'm the connection with the venue, I'm the promoter. Like there's so many things. It's like making a film. There's so many things that have to get done, so many details that have to get done in order for the fun part, which is the performing. So
Hmm.
sometimes it's like, I just want to be a comic. I just want to tell jokes, not make the flyer and book it and create the theme and decorate the stage and make the opening video and also make the backdrop and then also make the voice. But I do it because I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but I know the feeling of sometimes, especially for me, because it's kind of not really been done before, a horror themed
yeah,
comedian, horror themed comedy show. So a lot of the first few years were like, let me just figure this out as I go along. I mean, I remember when I first started the show, I was just like go to, Spirit Halloween or whatever and just tape up my little or like a comic book store and just tape up pictures of Leatherface on the wall. And then Tom Dolby came in, like I said, the director, and he was like, no, no, girl, we're making this better. And so, like, the stage decor all of a sudden started elevating. And now I have a garage full of props and weird, bloody. What my boyfriend's like, yeah, this is normal. This is totally normal. But yeah, so I love getting to do all of it. But sometimes the part that I look forward to the most is just writing the material, getting to write the new jokes, I'm going to watch a bunch of movies and just see what my brain picks up.
where does like the modern horror films lay with you compared to the classics that we've talked about? Like, do you feeling good? Because like right now, horror is pretty hot.
Cool
Like,
now, yeah.
yeah,
Comedy is cool now, and it wasn't like on fire when I first started. It wasn't the cool thing to do, and horror wasn't the cool thing to do when I first got into it. But look at where we are now. But
yeah.
I think there's a lot of really great new franchises and new films coming. But I actually have so I just did an hour the other day for my big Halloween show at the Brea Improv, which is really exciting. And I had a whole chunk about new horror,
Mm.
and I talk about, I mean, I love the Conjuring franchise. I love the new.
It's mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an Annabelle kind of a girl.
Mm.
Actually, we have the pleasure of getting to do Midsummer Scream in Long Beach. We've done it the past 2 years. And this year, David Markland, who's the genius behind it all, he was like, Samantha, let's do something that hasn't been done before. Like, he really kind of kickstarted me into something like, he's like, let's just do something really spectacular. And I decided to I called it the Annabelle Sessions. So I hosted the show as Annabelle, who's now an anger management counselor, and I invited all these villains of horror to come talk about their feelings. So we had a Chucky, a Ghostface, my friend Tommy Spears, who's brilliant. He did Norma slash Norman. So he like half of his face was Norma, half was Norman, and he just with himself for 10 minutes. It was iconic. It was so good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, the Conjuring series, man. I keep hearing different things of if they're going to do that HBO show, man. After the last movie, I sure hope they do it because that really has been a cornerstone of 2000 on up for horror. I love all those movies.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
we actually went to the house from the first one.
Oh,
Uh,
is it like North Carolina or something? Or Rhode
New
Island?
Hampshire.
I knew it. It was one of those. I was
Yeah,
twice, but it's fine.
my yeah, my mom's side is all from New England, so we went out there to visit my godson, and I was like, all those states are so close together. Like it's not California at all. Like you can drive through 4 states in 3 hours, and
Right.
like we're only an hour and a half from the Conjuring house. Like I got to go check this out, and it's not like what it looks like in the movie at all, which is typical. But yeah, that place is creepy, man.
Did you
That
win?
oh yeah, I did a tour. The creepiest part is story time. Creepiest part is after you take the tour, they give you like an hour to just walk around.
Ooh.
And the little boy, the boy in the music box when she's holding it up, like he'll show up behind you in the mirror. Um, the way that the house is designed, it's all in a line. So you walk up, and if you go up the stairs to get to like the kids' bedrooms, there's no hallway. You're like walking through one bedroom, and then you walk right into another one. You walk right into another one, and then there's another set of stairs to go down. And the little boy has this alcove that is where the chimney comes up, and it's like maybe a 3 by 4 foot like space, but it wraps around this corner. And I was up there by myself, and there's a chalkboard where you can write messages to him. And our house, my wife and I's house, is extremely haunted.
Ooh.
So ghosts aren't like a big deterrent or turn off. It's more even like a curiosity. Like, is this haunted place like our haunted place, or the vibe and everything? And so I was up there and I wrote hi on his chalkboard, and I just said, I hear you like to hang up here. I'm just letting you know I'm not trying to mess with you. If you want to let me know you're up here right now, you can let me know. If not, no biggie. I'm just checking out the house. As soon as I say that, I turn around and I'm looking at the room. Chalk comes off of the chalkboard and lands at my feet.
What?
And I turn, like, pick it up, and I'm like, "Are you trying to throw stuff at me?" Like, my day job, I'm a resource teacher, so I'm like acting like I would with like a kid, and I'm like, "Are you trying to hit me?" Yada yada yada. Put it back on the ledge. Take a couple steps. Flies off again. This time, I go to put it up. I put it back on the ledge, and as I put it back on the ledge, like straight out of a horror movie, out of his little toy alcove, ball, bump, 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 bump.
Whoa.
I went back downstairs after that.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. I heard that that house was going up for auction and then it wasn't.
It's changed ownership like a
Yeah.
lot. Like I don't know exactly as to why, but like looking at and researching it after taking the tour. So the tour was pretty spur of the moment, but after going, I wanted to like find out more about that kind of stuff. And yeah, like they change ownership quite often. It seems like
Yeah. Oh man, I would love to. And it still blows my mind that Matt Rife owns the Warren Museum now. Like, how did
that
that?
is yeah, that's wild. Have you ever gotten to meet him at all? Cross paths with him?
With Matt, I think I've met him briefly. I know more actually Elton Casti, who is one of his co-hosts. Elton's done Horror Nerd, and he's super cool, super sweet. Um, but no, I mean Matt does like huge theaters and venues. Even though the
Yeah.
funny thing is, I was going to be in Arizona a couple of weeks ago, and it turns out we wound up rescheduling because the venue that we were going to be at, Matt was doing his Christmas taping. So I was like, okay, we'll try later.
I was gonna say if you ever cross paths with him, you gotta like, bro. I get you're a horror fan, obviously, but why? Why?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I wrote a bit about it, and like anyone who's that hot and has got that famous on TikTok that fast already made a deal with the devil. I'm not surprised. Like, get it, but also like, good luck with that, buddy. I don't know if I'd want to actually touch or have the actual Annabelle doll because if it's true, if there are, why risk?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm
one
not.
of those. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if it's not true, then okay, but if it is true,
Then
fuck,
yeah,
yeah.
no. Well, I definitely, whenever I'm on tour, I try to find the most haunted places I can find. And we're actually, my boyfriend's from back east, like Annville. So it's maybe like hour and a half away from Penhurst Asylum. So guess what
Ooh,
we're doing? He's yep,
that's awesome.
the overnight, late night tour, like investigation. They give you equipment and everything.
Overnight?
Well, it's like 7 p.m. to like 2 or 3 or
Oh,
something.
damn, that, yeah, that's a big chunk of time.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
let's.
What has been one of the coolest places you've gone to so far?
Waverly Hills in Kentucky was pretty mind blowing. It was actually the very first comedy festival I did in Louisville. So it's like a half hour away in the woods is the Waverly Hills Sanitarium. It's a former tuberculosis hospital. It's massive. It's like, I think, 4 or 5 floors. It's huge. And there are thousands of people who died in this location because they didn't know how to treat tuberculosis. And there's all these like stories of people getting killed and this and that. And that place I definitely, I mean, you always want to be like, am I 100% sure I saw that? I'm pretty sure I saw that. But we went up to the fourth floor, which is known for shadow figures. And they said, okay, we need a volunteer. My hand goes up before
Hmm.
she's done. She's like, do you see the end of this tunnel, like the end of this walkway? Go there by yourself. And so, oh, okay. So I go and she's like, all right, we're just going to hang out for a bit. And I walk all the way down there. I turn around. I can't see the group. I can't see them at all. It is so dark in there. But there was a very small window at like the very end of this hallway. And I saw a huge black mask walk past it one way, and then I just
Mm.
kind of had that the I check what am I and the tour guide was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. And then maybe 2 3 minutes later I saw it walk past the other way, so I can't explain that.
Wow.
Also, I went down into the Shanghai tunnels underneath Portland, if you've heard of them.
Okay. Yeah.
That really happened. All that stuff is true. And so I'm down there, and the tour had gone like ahead of me. I didn't realize they left the room. So I'm by myself in one of the tunnels, and I'm just lost in thought about something. And I feel this extremely hard, like blow on the back of my neck, like a gust of. I turned around, like swinging, like who's, and I was the only one in the room.
Sure.
And I asked the guide when we were out. I said, "Hey, is there anything? Has this happened before?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah. Did you notice the wind chimes?" I said, "Sure." He said, "The wind chimes are up because there is nothing in these tunnels that would cause a draft at all. So if those move or you feel any kind of wind or pressure, like air, it's got to be a spirit."
Something. Yeah. That is pretty wild. We went, as my dad was pretty right wing conservative. Baptist is the only way, and that as a teenager, adult, made me ask so many questions of so many people to find every possible way. And I've been lucky enough to get to go on some ghost hunts, and we went to a place that definitely the whole shadow figure thing that you're discussing. We saw that, and pictures that were taken. We looked like the old school sepia things, the seance photos where the heads are all contorted and everything. And I was like, this is wild. Like, this is pretty wild. And our ghost that resides here, we did, someone who was at the time claiming to be, I mean, I'm sure she still is, to be psychic. And I would believe her because she walked in. My wife wasn't living here yet. I was with a buddy of mine. We were had the place. He was renting a room for me, and it was just weird coincidences. But the whole thing that would always trip us out was the corner of the eye thing. What we call, like, I do this, and especially like here where I'm recording, my hallway's over here, and when I'm in here, it still happens at least 3, 4 times a week. He will walk down our hallway, but it is a motion where, just like if you do this, and so it just messes with your peripheral just enough to know that you saw something, but no one is there. And when he was living here, it was stuff like that, and then it escalated to a point where one night, uh, like I could feel breath on my cheek, and it
Yeah.
said, and it just said, "Hey, dude," and
Hey,
I thought,
dude.
"Hey, dude," and
Wow.
I looked at, like, I opened, eyes shot open, but I did not want to roll over, and my brain went to like, why in the hell are you leaning over me in the middle of the night? So I said, yeah, thinking it was him. And of course, straight out of a horror movie, like finally work up the courage to turn around and it's just black in my bedroom. And that's when I told him, I'm like, look, man, you're going to think I'm nuts, but this is what happened. And he goes, no, the other day I was taking a nap, you weren't home, and exact thing happened, but it was, you got to wake up now.
Oh, whoa.
And so, yeah, we brought in the medium, and she just starts naming stuff that like she wouldn't know. Like I still have my dog from back then, but she walked in 2 steps, and oh, he likes you way better than the other person. I was like, why? Uh, the other one had too many dogs. The other one bred dogs before I bought the house.
Oh, wow.
Um, he likes hanging out with you guys. Oh, what? You know why? Concert Wednesdays. What's Concert Wednesdays? We didn't have any money at the time. Concert Wednesday was us buying a pack of beer and watching a concert on YouTube. And
She
it's
did that?
just like,
Uh,
that's so specific. And so now, it's become normal, but it's like when my wife moved in, she was seeing like full body apparition. Like she walked in with shopping bags one day, and she's like, "How are you gonna just watch me walk up the walkway and not help me?" And I
whoa.
and I was in the backyard, and I'm like coming in from the backyard. I'm like, "What do you? I didn't know you were home." And she's like, "You didn't watch me walk up the walkway in the window?" And I'm like,
No.
"Yeah,
Oh, wow. Do you know who is there like a record of someone dying in your
we
house?
have record of him dying like on the land before the house was built."
Oh, okay.
So it used to be all like farmland, and so yeah. But every time we've asked, it's just like he doesn't want to scare you. He just doesn't want to move on. And there's been, I've talked to a few different people, and some of them are like, just let him be. And if there's other people that are like, we need to, have him pass on to whatever's next. And I don't know. I'm in the mindset of like, if he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. He's not like throwing shit across the room or hurting us or anything. And if we say please stop, that's the if he scares us good enough, and we're like, hey, can you leave us alone? You're freaking us out. It'll be like a week before anything happens.
A polite ghost. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like I'm cool with him. He doesn't, be cool if he could like leave a stack of money on the counter.
Right? Can you do the dishes or leave some money while you're at it?
Yeah, but yeah, man, there's definitely something on the other side of whatever this is.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, so that's cool that you really hit both aspects: the movie aspect of being a horror fan and the paranormal, and it sounds like the haunt aspect as well.
Yeah,
Have,
I'm a triple threat, baby.
are you like an the age-old debate of HHN versus Not Scary Farm? Which
Oh boy. Well, I hate to admit it. Sometimes I'm so busy in October that I get lazy and I go to horror nights because it's 20 minutes from my house. But I do love Not Scary Farm though. I do love it. It's a whole different vibe. I mean,
it is.
obviously it's not like recognizable franchises and characters, but that kind of makes it a little bit cooler in a way. I don't know, it makes it more like, I don't want to use the word authentic, but just more like this is a bunch of weirdos who just love this stuff. We're coming together and creating characters and stories, and um,
Sure.
yeah. So it
Yeah.
just, one of them is more like the Halloween spirit, and one of them is more like, oh, you're going to very recognizable name. You have the Terrifier maze, the
Mhm.
Poltergeist house, the Jason, Five Nights at Freddy's, which was actually pretty good. I actually really love that maze. That was fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm big. You have you ever been to Orlando's?
no, but I would love to.
Yeah, you gotta make it out, man. There's for where we are. Obviously, in your case, it's hard to pass up HHN Hollywood, 20 minutes away. But
There, yeah.
we got to a point where I was like, if I don't go to HHN Hollywood, how much more is it really to go to Orlando? And this was during COVID,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, so summer school or whatever, like booked the flight, and I went the year the parks reopened, which was their 30th anniversary, and I was just,
Wow.
and so yeah, I've been going to Orlando's ever since. It's freaking mind blowing because they're every stage or every house is like in a controlled environment where Hollywood just doesn't have the space, so they're putting up the tents.
Yeah.
And by like you're walking through houses where it's snowing on you and it's raining on you, and
Cool.
the biggest comparison factor that I always go back to is Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah.
Um, so Hollywood, that was the last year I think I did both. Hollywood was like you just walked into the thumbnail, Netflix thumbnail.
Yeah.
Orlando, you walked into this warehouse and they built Hill House to scale,
Oh,
and it's raining on you.
oh my god.
And Luke's out there tweaking on drugs, telling you not to go in, and it's just like this is truly like Universal Studios. Like this
That
is
is,
what I would like being on a movie set for sure.
yeah.
That's not shitting on Hollywood. Hollywood is fun. I actually think Hollywood's probably scarier.
Really? So it's just not as like grand scale, but it's scarier.
Right. Like
Ah,
the spectacle of Orlando, like this year they did a maze that was like, so the set was the scale of the Hill House, but it was about this artist in Spain that the house was like a conjuring poltergeisty type thing where the house was taking over whatever artist resided there, and then they kill or they are killed. So you had all these ghosts, and they were using Pepper's ghosts, and they had people flying above you, and it was
oh,
just like this whole thing. And I'm like, Hollywood just doesn't have the room
space.
to do it, but it was is unlike anything. I will say they did, watching videos and stuff, that soundstage that they did use Five Nights for, like there were subtle differences, like people online that love to troll were like, well, Hollywood didn't get the Chica and Bonnie animatronic on this. It's like, shut up.
Oh,
Uh,
here.
and like, for the most part, that was like, it looked like they had Jim Henson basically make two of the same thing.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
And I think they had the Stranger Things maze in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some good stuff in there as well.
And that gives you like the taste of like just imagine that, but every maze is to that kind of standard. It's pretty cool. You guys got to go, especially if you're gonna go to the East Coast at some point. Like
Yeah,
drive down to Orlando.
I gotta do it. I've been to Worlds, but we did that trip, which was fun, but now I gotta go back and do.
Yeah, and they got Epic Universe now, which is a whole other thing. The Universal Monsters Land.
Yes, I've seen all the videos and clips of it, and I have people who've gone, and I totally want to see that. Oh my goodness.
Well, my last like question I had to mention was you not only all this horror stuff, but you are also got some pretty rad ties to just classic comedic television
I
where
did.
your uncle is the skipper from Gilligan's Island.
This is my grandfather.
Oh, your grandfather.
Yeah, this is my dad's dad. Yeah, and it's so cool that he was in the giant spider invasion and the crawling hand.
Yeah,
The very first show that I ever did, like ever, at the Comedy Store, I was so nervous. And Don Wells came and sat right in the front, who played Marianne, and that was just
that's
so cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. But my grandfather was great. I mean, how lucky am I that I have like a box set, stuff that I can just plop on a DVD or turn on Tubi or whatever, and there's tons of my grandfather's stuff there. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So my dad's the one who got me into horror. That's what started the love. And my dad has passed away. So like literally when I miss my dad, I'll put on it, or I'll put on, we watch Poltergeist together. I'll put on Killer Clowns from Outer Space, whatever it is. But my grandfather, my dad sounded like just like him. So when I miss my dad, I can listen to my grandfather and still hear my dad, which is pretty cool.
That is really cool. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Um, well, your special is out now, Horror Nerd. People can watch it. I know, Jordan, who sets these interviews up for us, sent me the Apple TV link,
Yeah,
and
shout out
so
to Jordan.
is it available like on not just Apple TV? Is it available kind of across the board on any?
Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube. I mean, basically, if you just Google Samantha Hale horror nerd,
Mhm.
it'll pop up, and it's. You can also rent it on iTunes if you'd like, or purchase it. Yeah, there's so many ways to see it, and if you go to my Instagram at the Samantha Hale or at Horror Nerd Comedy, there's lots of clips on there, so you can kind of get a little taste of what you might see. I have a bit on Ed Gein, and we released it right when Monster came out, and that worked out pretty well for us.
Right on, man. Well, I had a blast talking to you. I
Thank you for that,
definitely hope that we can do it again sometime.
for
And
sure. Well, let me know when that convention is. I'll bring the show up there.
dude, definitely, man. And
We'll do it.
are always looking to get some fun stuff. So, yeah, I definitely will let you know, and I definitely will be looking for the next comedy special, and I will definitely be listening to the Horror Nerd podcast. We'll link all that stuff
Yeah.
in the show notes. So if you guys are listening or watching, definitely check those out and check out Samantha. So thank you again for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Jimmy.